Hello class, Mr. Guarino here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take our previous project of our frame-by-frame bird animation with the flapping of the wings and change it into this, where we have a bird fly across a screen and his wings are constantly flapping. I made him do a little flip. Okay, I also made him kind of get a little bigger as he got to the center of the tree and then shrink back down as he flipped, fly up and fly away. So let me close this out. And this is the one you've already done. And rather than start working right in this, I've always found it best to take what you're working on. So this bird 4 file is what I just had open. And rather than start working on that exact file, I want to work on a copy of that. So if I screw something up really bad, I still have my original. So all I'm going to do is right click and say copy. I actually like using the buttons up here because sometimes when I right click, I click on the wrong thing and it wants to give me different things, over here, over there, whatever. So I just go up here and I click paste. So now I have bird 4 copy. So I'm going to rename that, and then I'll work on this one. I'm just going to call it bird dash animation. There we go. And hit enter. Now when I sort this by date, I love to sort by date because it always shows me the last things I did on top. You'll notice it has the same date as the bird 4 because I haven't really changed anything. I only made a copy. But once I open this and then change it, it'll be today's date, be the current date. So I'm not going to open this one because that's my original. I don't want to mess up. I'm going to open this one, the copy I made, and rename to bird animation. I'll double click on that and you see it's the same thing. I got two files that are the same so I can retain my original. So the first step to do that is we want to copy these frames into a new symbol. So always click away just in case if a frame is selected and you click on it and drag, you actually move the frame or move the keyframe or move something. So click away and then in one shot click and hold down on the first one, drag to the end. So now they're all selected. You right click and say copy frames. Then we come up here to insert new symbol and call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it birdie. Make sure it's a graphic symbol and say OK. So what it did is it created a symbol over here called birdie. There's a little icon for graphic symbol. And it opened the symbol so that you could put some artwork in there. Notice that right now up here it says birdie, which means I'm inside that symbol. I'm not on my main timeline, my main project, which usually we call scene 1. So I can click back to that. If I want to get back into my symbol, I have to double click on it. If I double click on the word birdie, it actually thinks I want to change the name. It doesn't open the symbol. You have to double click. Let me click away. You have to double click on the icon. When you double click the icon, you're inside the symbol. Now I still have those 4 frames on my clipboard. So while I'm in this symbol, I'm going to right click on the first frame and say paste frames. So now you'll notice I have the same 4 frame frame by frame animation with 4 frames in it. The white background is always there. Don't worry. If you made it transparent, it's transparent. That's just a white background. It's not the stage because you're inside your symbol. So now when I go back, you'll see that this is my stage, this transparent rectangle. So now I want to get rid of this. And that's why I made a copy of my file because I'm going to get rid of what I did. And if I didn't make a copy and I messed something up, I've gotten rid of what I did and I didn't want to do that. I'd like to delete this layer, but you got to have one layer. So if I click the garbage pail now, it doesn't want to delete it. So first I make a new one, and then I click on this layer and delete it. So now this new layer is where I'm going to put my bird symbol, making sure first I drag my playhead back to the beginning. Then I'm going to go where it says birdie, my graphic symbol, click on that, drag it onto the screen, So now there's my bird symbol. And it flaps its wings. It's embedded inside the symbol. That symbol will always have wings flapping. In fact, I'm going to go out to frame 40 and press F5. And now he's always flapping his wings because he exists from frame 1 to frame 40. So he always flaps his wings. So now I just need create a motion tween here and put in a pretty background. I got my animation. So I'm going to create, let's name this first of all Birdie. B-A-R-D-I-E. Make a new layer and name that BG for background. Of course, drag the background to the bottom. When I created it, it made it the same length as what was already there. That was nice, I guess. Gonna go and import the picture I saved already. So you go save a picture that you want to be your background. Import the library. I just got some tree. Those, I guess, birds fly around trees. While this background layer is selected, I drag my picture onto the screen. Now it's much bigger than the stage that I had that's transparent. So I really want my stage to be, well, the size we've been working with usually. So let's do that. So I go to Properties, click over here. Right now the picture's selected. So I click over here, and I can change the size of my stage. And actually, if I wanted to, I really could click on the picture and see what the size of the picture is and make the stage the same size so I don't have to resize my picture. If you remember, we were using a size of 1280 by 720, so this picture's like really close. So either way, it doesn't really matter. So 1256 by 835. So 1256 by 835. So my stage, let me minimize, shrink this a little bit. So my stage is that transparent rectangle you see there with just the border. I want the picture over there, right? So I could drag it and try and line it up, but I like to do line it up this way, line it up that way. Now I know it's perfect. So here's my picture with my bird. And now I have to just make a motion tween on this layer for the bird, for Birdie. So I right click, create motion tween, put my playhead back to the beginning, put my bird off the screen because he's going to fly onto the screen. Probably make him a little bigger, I'm a little smaller because he's kind of big for that tree. If you don't hold down shift, you can change the aspect ratio so he looks weird. So I always hold down shift so that you can't like squash him. Okay, then I'm going to go out to frame, let's say, I did in the previous one, I'm going to do the same thing. I went out to frame 8 because I figured I have 40 frames, so I'm going to do like 5 different keyframes. So I'm going to right click on frame 8, insert keyframe, all. And then I'm going to go and put my bird over here. So that's his first motion. Then I'm going to go out to frame 16, right click, insert keyframe all. And he's just going to fly across the screen. So I'm just going to put him over here. But he's going to get bigger as he does that because I want you to see him better. Let me hold down shift again so I can't squash him like this. I'll hold down shift and then I got to retain the aspect ratio. So I'm going to get real big so you can see him very well. And then I'm going to, it's like he's flying out at you, out of the screen. I'm going to go out to frame 24, right click, insert keyframe all. And he's going to fly down here, but as he does that, he's going to shrink. I'll move him down a little bit, and it's almost like he's trying to avoid something on the ground or go after something, so I'm going to make him spin. Now remember, if I spin him all around like this, all that I'm doing is just changing the position, or the rotation, I should say. So I actually ended up at 0. If you go around all the way like this, he's only going to position into that. He might go this way, he might go that way. So really what you want to do is click the transform button here and put in 360 so that you know he's going to do a full rotation. So you actually enter the number. So he's going to do that. I don't know if you like that or not, but I wanted to do that. And then I'm going to go out to 32. I'm so mathematical, I got to go out by 8 every time. I don't know why. It's not important that you do that. It's just the way my mind thinks. Insert keyframe all. Move him up here. And make him get a little... Oops. Holding down shift. Here we go. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. Make him get a little bit bigger, maybe not that big. And then the end, he's just going to fly off the screen. Right? So then I just drag him off the screen. Now if you go back to your select, well here. So now if I play this, he's kind of like really sort of, I don't know, he's very straight. I don't know. So I'm thinking I'll go into my select tool and maybe when I get the cursor that looks like that arc, I'm going to bend this down a little bit here. So he makes like a loopy thing, like a swoop, I guess. And going straight across I'm going to leave that way. But this one I'm going to swoop as well. And this one I'm going to go this way. And that one I'll just leave straight. So now it looks like this. He swoops, he swoops, he swoops, he flies off the screen. And there you have it. If you wanted to, from here to here, he just kind of flaps and he's going up like a helicopter. Usually I think a bird would tilt a little bit. So if I put it over here, the playhead, and I go to free transform, and I give him just a little rotation so he's like flying upwards, right? But now, I know I kind of messed something up, didn't I? Because now he's like, he's not flipping to there, but he's flipping over to there. So let me undo that. What works better is to move him over one, move the playhead over one, and insert a keyframe all, so that you know that the flip takes place from here to here, and then from here to here he does that other rotation, which is just twist his head up. So I'm going to come here and then twist him, because if you put a bunch of different rotations on the same property keyframe, it may get kind of weird. So now you can see he swoops, flies over, gets bigger, flies down as he does a little flip. Then when he gets here, he bends up so he can, he's still flipping. I don't know why. Let's go over here and take a look at this 360. Let's put 0 in over here. Well, maybe it wasn't that other thing to begin with. There we go. So I want him to arc up and then level out and then fly across. Alright, so you can always go in and adjust it, obviously. If you see something weird happen with a rotation, put your playhead on your property keyframe, open this up, and see what the, this has got to be clicked on, and see what the rotation is, and then you can adjust it. So now, if I put on my looping and play this, this is what it looks like. And let me turn off the looping. And if you want to play it in the browser, like Chrome or Edge or whatever, you hold down Control and hit Enter, and it processes your file, opens up Chrome, and there you have your animation. A little birdie flying around, being silly, having fun. Okay, and then inside your folder, you will have the bird animation you just did. I didn't save it. That's why it says recover. So let's do file. And I already had given it a name when I made the copy, so I just got to say save, not save as. There we go. Okay, so I just hit F5 to refresh my view here. Bird animation is here. And then this HTML and this JavaScript file work together to play the animation in a browser. So if I was to just double click, if I was to not even be in Animate and just double click this HTML file, there's your animation playing. So that's what you would put on a website. And it's probably a good idea. I usually do. Sometimes I forget. But HTML files should have no spaces in them. So if you have a space and you double click it in your Windows folder, it's still going to open. But if you really put it on a website and you link to it and had a space, you could have problems. So no spaces is best. So there you go. Take your embedded bird animation, put it in a symbol, motion tween it with a nice background, and you got a nice bird animation. Thank you very much.